It doesn't matter how much money you have in your portfolio or how much free time you have in retirement. If you don't know what you're going to do with your time, you're not going to have a fulfilling retirement. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you 15 ideas and activities of things you can do to create a more fun and fulfilling retirement. Hey everyone, I'm James Knoll, founder of Root Financial, and I'm here to teach you how to get the most out of life with your money. A few years back, I was speaking with a new client and he said, James, I really want to see how I can retire. And I said, great, let's talk about numbers. How much do you have in your portfolio? Great. When do you want to retire? Great. How much do you want to spend? Great. Asked him a series of questions. It quickly became very apparent to me that this guy had enough money to retire and last 100 years or more. In other words, the finances were not a concern. And on top of that, he did not enjoy his job. So I thought, this is great. I get to be the bearer of good news that, listen, Mr. Client, you're in a position where you can retire. And I delivered that news. But to my surprise, it wasn't joy on the other side of the phone. And in fact, there was a long pause. I said, I don't know if you heard me, Mr. Client. I said, you're in a position to retire now. To which he said, James, thank you, but I've known that. My bigger issue is I have no idea what I'm going to do with my time when I'm actually retired. It was in that moment that I realized retirement, a fulfilling retirement, is about so much more than your portfolio balance and your ability to create income. You need to have something to retire to. You need to have activities that are both fun and fulfilling for you so that everything you've worked so hard for up until that point is ultimately worth it. That's why in today's video, I'm going to share with you 15 things that you can do, that I've seen other clients do, to create that fun and that fulfillment and ultimately have retirement be everything you hope for. The first thing you can do is you can move somewhere new. Now, so often where we live is a function of where we raised a family, where we had to be for work, and it just became part of the routine. Now, some of you live in places that you absolutely love. Wonderful. But others of you, there might be a benefit to living somewhere new. When you move somewhere new, you get out of your routine, you kind of short circuit some of that thinking in your mind that says, this is my routine, this is what I do. And before long, years have gone by and your life really hasn't changed much. So sometimes living somewhere new can create a sense of newness, a sense of new possibilities, and help to jumpstart some of that new activity to create more fulfillment and fun in your retirement. The second thing you can do is you can travel. Now, one of the things about travel is we often think about it as, oh, I need to go to Europe or on a safari or this exotic getaway vacation, but there's so much wonderful things that you can do here in your own backyard. So often clients will spend thousands and thousands of dollars on travel, and a lot of times it's wonderful, but sometimes they'll then take a trip to a local national park and say, James, it was just as fun. It was just as fulfilling. No airplane ride. In fact, we got to take a really fun road trip to go to this thing that's in our very own backyard, but it's wonderful. And we're going to spend more of our time road tripping, doing some of these local trips, long weekend trips. And the more you can travel, the more you can experience, the more enriched your life is going to be. So find those things that you want to do. And by the way, don't wait until retirement to start taking these trips, but traveling and experiencing new things is absolutely part of a really wonderful retirement. Number 3, get a rewarding part-time job. Now notice that I said rewarding. If you're working in retirement, make it because it's something that you enjoy doing. Maybe you're able to mentor people at your job. Maybe it's something that you enjoy doing. Do something that doesn't require the stress and the responsibilities or the long hours or the grind that it puts your body through, but work has its benefits. Whether those are social interactions, whether it's a creative outlet for a skill set that you have, or whether it's a structure in your day, don't look at pre-retirement and post-retirement. Instead, look at retirement as a season of what can I do? What do I want to do? And if work is part of that, don't shut that down. Do something that's rewarding, and don't do it for the financial benefits, but do it for the social connections, the creative outlet, the structure that provides, and do so if it's rewarding. Number 4 is exercise more. I'll often say that there's 3 resources that we need to make sure we're managing well. Those resources are our time, our health, and our wealth. It doesn't matter how much time and wealth you have in retirement. If you don't have your health, you're not going to enjoy it. It's so sad to me when I see clients who have so much money in their portfolios, but they sacrifice their health to get there, both their physical and their mental health. Over years and decades of working, they were tired. They had the resources and the time to do what they want to do, but their health is now a limiting factor. What can you do to begin taking better care of your health? What routines can you implement? Because taking care of your health is one of those things that's going to benefit you today in terms of your mental clarity and how you feel, and it's going to extend both your health span and your lifespan. So taking care of your health is an important component of that fun and fulfilling retirement. Number 5 is be a mentor. So by the time that you've retired, you might have 30, 40 years experience in some specific discipline or skill set. That's incredibly valuable. Not only is it incredibly valuable, but my guess is you probably get a sense of satisfaction by taking that wisdom and sharing it with others. So how can you be a mentor to someone? And this doesn't just have to be in the workplace. Sure, it could be a specific skill set you have from work. It could be relationship advice. It could be life skills. It could be how to repair a roof or how to repair a fence. What have you learned over the course of your lifetime? How can you take that experience, that skill set, that knowledge, and use it to be a mentor to someone else? Number 6 is take a class. And you don't have to go back to college to take classes. There's online classes, there's local community college classes, there's community center classes. How can you keep yourself mentally active? How can you keep your brain sharp? How can you keep your mind sharp? Well, taking classes is a great way to do so. Retirement's not time just to give up and sit on the couch all day. Retirement's a time to really pursue those things that are meaningful to you. So take a class on some subject that piques your curiosity, and I think you'll find you really enjoy it. Number 7 is read. Now, I think a lot of people really enjoy reading, but when you're working long hours and dealing with chores and making sure that there's a family that has its needs cared for, sometimes your time to read gets pushed to the side. At the end of a long day, you just want to check out and watch a show or watch a movie. Well, how can you be a little bit more mentally stimulated in retirement? Reading is a great way to do that. Number 8 is learn a second language. Now, this can be beneficial if you want to travel to another country. It'd be really fun to go to Italy and be able to speak Italian and speak with the local people there, or learn French and go to France and speak with the local people there. But even if you're not traveling, learning is a great way to stimulate mental activity and to stave off some of that mental decline. So learning a second language can be a wonderful thing to do. And whether you're using it to go speak another language in a country that you're traveling to, or it's just a fun excuse to stay mentally active and have something to do, learning a second language has many benefits. Number 9 is volunteer. So maybe you're not in a position where you say, yeah, I really want to go back and work part-time or be a mentor. That's a lot of time, and I don't know if that's something I'm ready for quite yet. But volunteering is a wonderful way to spend as many hours as you want each week giving back to worthy causes. Additionally, there's always a mismatch between how many volunteers are needed at many organizations and how many are willing or able to actually volunteer. So if you put yourself out there as a volunteer, there's absolutely causes that are in need of people like you. So how can you do this to give back your time, your skill set, your resources to help those in need or help organizations in need? It can be a wonderful part of a fulfilling retirement. Number 10 is babysit. Now this depends on if you have children and grandchildren, but assuming that you do, this can be a wonderful way to spend your days. How can you spend more time with your grandchildren and also help your children, if this is the case, of course, with you, while you're also doing that? So you might look at that and say, well, I don't have grandchildren today. Well, if you're a few years out from retirement, think about where your children are. Is there going to be grandchildren in the future? And starting to think not just about today, but the future, and starting to build that in at least potentially as something that you could do in retirement. Number 11, pick up a sport. I cannot stress enough how important it is to stay active in retirement. Now, sometimes people hear stay active and they think, oh, I don't want to go on a run, or I don't want to go strength train. Well, just do something that moves your body. This could be pickleball, this could be tennis, this could be swimming, this could be badminton. There's so many different options available to you, and doing something that both has health benefits and is also fun is a wonderful thing you can do to, again, improve your health span and lifespan while also increasing your fun, mental clarity, physical feeling along the way too. Number 12, do something that challenges you. Going back to my previous point, the goal of retirement isn't to arrive and then sit on the couch for the next 30 years. You should continue to challenge yourself. You should continue to grow and improve in many areas, and there's many different ways you could do this. This could be a mental or even an emotional challenge, like signing up for Toastmasters. That's scary. You have to get up and you have to speak. But what you'll find is that doing things that challenge you and seeing yourself grow, that's a wonderful feeling. It could be a physical challenge. Maybe you sign up for a 5K, and in doing so, just by putting that on the calendar, now you have something to look forward to. Now you have something to train for. And again, setting those goals, setting those challenges, and then reaching and overcoming them It's a really rewarding thing to do, and it also improves your health, whether it's mental health or physical health or anything else. It gives you something to do, it pushes you, and it improves your overall health as you're doing it. Number 13, start a blog or YouTube channel. One of the things, and many of you watching this, maybe you have your own YouTube channels. One thing that's fun for me to see is a lot of people who have retired, they'll start a YouTube channel. Here's my experience in retirement. Here's when I collected Social Security. Here's what I do for fun. Here's some of the things I wish I had known. Here's what I would have done if I could have done it all over again. And what people love about these channels isn't that they're super produced. It's not that they're over edited. It's that it's a real person sharing real experience. I think people underestimate how much experience they have to share. But when you just start doing something, there's millions of other people wondering, what's it like to retire? What's it like to have been an engineer? What's it like, or how should I create a better classroom environment if I'm a teacher? Whatever the case might be. What's your experience? What's your knowledge? What's your passion in? And is that something you can share via blog or YouTube with others? Number 14 is make a movie. Now, I underestimated how many people this is actually a priority for them. A lot of people, they're artistic, they're creative, they have a story they want to tell, and sometimes that means writing a book, but for other people, it's writing a movie. Now, this doesn't have to be the next blockbuster hit, but again, it's less about what can you do to earn income and more what can you do to express yourself and to have that creative outlet, and for many, that's making a movie. Doesn't have to be high budget, there's people out there who can help with it, but think through things and think through stories you want to tell, and sometimes a movie or a short film is a great way to do that. Now, the 15th thing, the final thing, and maybe the most important thing, is to think about your own mortality. Now, you may hear that and say, James, what on earth does that have to do with things? We're thinking about fun retirement, fulfilling retirement. I don't really want to think about death. Well, yes, it sounds weird, but I'll tell you that contemplating and thinking about our own mortality is one of the best things we can do to fully live. I'll journal most mornings, and oftentimes I'll journal about my 90-year-old self. So I'll imagine myself as a 90-year-old sitting with my wife, who at that point would be 87. And I'd say, what would 90-year-old James tell 34-year-old James? What would I care more about? What would I care less about? What would I prioritize? What would I let go of? And it's really only thinking about myself towards the end of my life that I can truly know what it's like to live today. So how can we look at ourselves in the future, contemplate our mortality, and then say, what would 90-year-old James say to 34-year-old James, and then trust him and live life in such a way where I know I'm not going to be here forever. So how can I take this time for you, maybe specifically in retirement? How can I use these next 20, 30 years to truly live fully? What would that look like? And one of the best ways of doing so is by having that conversation with our 90-year-old selves. So the theme that I hope you can start to see here is that when you're retiring, it's crucial you have something to retire to, not just something to retire from. Now, that being said, there's one common trap that people commonly fall victim to. I made a video here where I walk you through what is that trap, how can you identify it in your own experience, and what can you do to overcome it. I hope you enjoy. Once again, I'm James Knoll, founder of Root Financial, and if you're interested in seeing how we help our clients at Root Financial get the most out of life with their money, be sure to visit us at www.rootfinancialpartners.com.